स्क्रीन विजिबल है तो ये Hey guys, so let's start the class for today. So since last two classes we were discussing about exception handling in Java. Yesterday we have seen one program where we have discussed about uh, arithmetic exception, and there we have seen that uh, a different outcome or result was coming than expected. This was the program, right? So we have entered two numbers, correct, in this program yesterday. And then within the try block, that is the guarded region, result is equal to A divided by B. This is the computation that we were doing. When we entered B as 0, then we have seen that this catch block was not reached. That means that's a divide by 0 error that comes under arithmetic exception. That used to be the case, as I said yesterday. And this catch block was not reached. And even the print statement system.println, this error, this particular line number 30, this was not printing. Rather, we were just getting the final result as infinity, and then this after exception handling, this line was being executed. So just to remind, let me run it again. Enter two numbers. Let me say 8 and then 0. Then see the particular message in line number 30, that is error, which would have been printed if the control has would have entered this catch blocks in case of arithmetic exception. This is not printed, right? Error is not printed. The message error is not being printed, which is in the catch block at line number 30. Okay. Instead, what is happening is the output from line number 35 and line number 36 are coming with result is equal to infinity and after exception handling. So this is what we have seen in the last class. But surprisingly, just before taking the class, I was going through my previous this code that I've written in the last year. So there was one similar example, and you can see here also we have got the scanner object, correct? Instead of A, I am receiving the input from the keyboard in operand 1. Then the message will be printed into the second operand, and then I will receive the I am receiving the integer input in operand 2. And then the same try block where result is equal to operand 1 slash operand 2, the same operation, right? And here also in this arithmetic exception, the catch block which takes arithmetic exception, here I have printed the error to check that whether the control is coming into this block or not, this catch block or not. Okay. Surprisingly, when we run this program, say enter the first operand, same input 8 and 0. Okay. There has to be a divide by 0 error. So it is entering into the error. This catch block which is printing error message, right? ठीक. अभी जो कोड मैंने दिखाया था सेम सिचुएशन थी उसमें, लेकिन उसमें कैच एक्सेप्शन में नहीं आ रहा था. वहां पे भी हमने अर्थमेटिक एक्सेप्शन को कैच कर रखा था. ठीक है. In the previous example that I have just shown and which we were discussing yesterday, we have seen that the catch block which was having the parameter of arithmetic exception, that was not being reached, that was being skipped because the output from that particular system.out.println an error that was not being printed, right? Instead, infinity as a result was being printed. But here, this is giving the same result as was expected to me as I have taken in the previous classes, the way, right? So there is some kind of we will have to figure out what is the difference between the codes, because I don't see at first consideration that there is any difference in the code. But still, we will have to check slightly carefully. So maybe I have to give some time to check. So I will post this code to both of you, to both this code to you guys also, so that you can also try on your computer and try to figure out whether these codes are different. Is there any difference in the code? So because of which the output is different, or whether the code are same, and then what could be the reason for the difference in the output. ठीक है? People online, are you getting? Okay. So I will post both the codes in your WhatsApp group and try both the codes. Logically, they seem equal to me, but with they're giving different outputs. So we have to figure out what is the difference. So your assignment, which I promised yesterday that you will get extra 2 credit points if you do this, is a little modified now, in the sense that you will have to consider it in the context of both the code examples. Shubham is there or not? Is Shubham there? No. Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next example. So here, as you can see in this example, we were reaching to the arithmetic exception. That means divide by 0 is still, it's an arithmetic exception. No changes, but just we have to figure out what is the reason that is causing a different output in the other program. So then let's try. Okay, this example. See, it's almost the same program. We have got two operand 1 and operand 2, both initially set to 0. Okay. Then under this try block, we've got these 4 statements where we are printing the messages for entering the first operand and the second operand, as well as we are trying to scan. We are trying to scan using the keyboard, and whatever we are scanning, we are scanning through the call of scan.next method, right? Not next int or not next float, right? The operand 1 is something which is integer variable, right? So in that case, ideally it should have been next int, scan.next int, but we are just trying with the scan.next method call. So we know that this method is going to return us a string. It will return us a string and not an integer. So automatic conversion of the type conversion that this next int method was doing, or next float method was doing, that will not be happening here in this case. So it will be a string. So if you are getting a string, then there is also a way to parse it manually into the integer value, provided that string is actually an integer. For example, if I am entering 3, so scan.next is going to return us 3, which is a string. But now that 3 could be parsed to an integer by calling parse int method, which is a static method, of course, on the integer class. And you know that integer class is one of the wrapper classes we have discussed in the last class. Achha. So this integer class is one of the wrapper classes. Parse int is a utility method. Similarly, if you have got float as a wrapper classes, parse float will be the method, right? To convert a string literal into a floating point number or integer number, provided it is actually a floating point number or integer number, which is coming as a string. ठीक है? तो इनपुट जो आपको मिल रहा है स्कैन नेक्स्ट मेथड से, वो तो स्ट्रिंग का मिलेगा, रिटर्न टाइप इसका स्ट्रिंग है, लेकिन हम उसको मैनुअली पार्स कर रहे हैं. Now this parse int method or parse float method, these methods are very important from the point of application development. Why? Because assume the case when you have got a web application where you are entering into a form which is in the browser. Okay, like when you must have taken the admission, then you must have filled a form, your name, course, age, and everything, right? Now the age field is something which is an integer value, 20, 21, 25, something like that you will fill. But we know that the communication is through HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, because it's a web application. The part of the application, the server side part of the application, which is going to process the form values, is located somewhere in the server room of Jamia Hamdard, or wherever Jamia Hamdard might have hired it, right? So the communication will happen through the internet. The form information will come to the server machine, and HTTP is, please note down, HTTP is a text-based protocol. It's a text-based protocol. That means the communication that will happen between the client, that is the browser, and the server machine, okay, the server, hosted server machine, that will happen through the text machine, text. So even you have entered age 25, that will be reached as 25 as a text. Now that has to be passed when you want to process it, because you might be willing to check the age. If the age is not less than 21, then only we can allow the admission, for example. Okay? Or if the age is someone have entered negative by mistake, right? So that could be a possibility. So you have to put the validation. So for all this purpose, parse int method is something, or parse float method, these parsing utility methods are something which are very, very important. बेटा scan next है ना, ये मेथड देखो उसके अंदर जो ब्रैकेट में है, scan next int नहीं है, तो ये रीड करके देखो, तुमको देगा स्ट्रिंग वैल्यू, इसका रिटर्न टाइप देखो स्ट्रिंग दिख रहा है, ये स्ट्रिंग देगा। तो अगर तुमने मान लो मैंने वैल्यू 10 डाली, तो 10 वो नंबर नहीं आएगा, नेक्स्ट से जो रिटर्न मिलेगा वो 10 एज ए स्ट्रिंग निकलेगा, ठीक है? वो यहाँ आके रिप्लेस हो जाएगा इस ब्रैकेट में। अब उसको 10 को एक्चुअली में कन्वर्ट करना है इंटीजर में ऑपरेशन करने से पहले, ठीक है? तो मैं जानबूझ के यहाँ नेक्स्ट रिटर्न करके नेक्स्ट यूज कर रहा हूँ, ये डिमॉन्स्ट्रेट करने के लिए, ठीक है? तो उसको कन्वर्ट तुम्हें करना है इंटीजर में, तो रैपर क्लासेस के जो यूटिलिटी मेथड होते हैं वो इस काम के लिए इस्तेमाल होते हैं। I'm just repeating whatever I discussed just now in Hindi, so that the people may understand better. ठीक है? So those who are foreign students, don't worry about it. It's nothing new. ठीक है? तो क्या होगा, ये जो पार्स इंट मेथड है, उसको स्ट्रिंग अगर 10 मिला तो उसको कन्वर्ट कर देगा इंटीजर में, और फिर ऑपरेंड 1 में डालेगा, और ऑपरेंड 1 क्या है, इंटीजर टाइप का है, ठीक है? So both these values, which will be scanned as a string from the keyboard, they will be converted to the integer values and will be stored to operand 1 and operand 2, right? And then we have got this one catch. Within the one catch block, we have put the exception number format exception, that is the handler. If there is any problem in the format of the number, we will see what it is, okay? Then this message will be printed, system.err.println, just like cin and cout, and you have in C++ in and out. Similarly, we have got ERR also. In C++, you have got CERR. That is just like out, but it's print. The print output is in red color, so you know that it's a error message, okay? So if this catch block is reached, then the message illegal number format in line number 17 will be printed on the console. Clear? If this block is not reached, then this message will not appear. Correct? Then what we are doing in next line, operand 1 is equal to operand 1 plus 5, some additions. Then we are doing the divide operations. See, here I have not put the try and catch block. So it means try and catch block is not mandatory thing. But if there is a divide by 0 error, then exception will come and the program will halt. फिर से बताएं? अच्छा, so अभी मैं क्या कह रहा था कि इस लाइन में जो लाइन नंबर 21 है, इसमें मैं डिवीजन का ऑपरेशन कर रहा हूं। अगर ऑपरेंड 2 मैंने 0 एंटर कर दिया, तो भले ही वो पार्ट्स होकर के सही पार्ट्स हो जाए, लेकिन उसके बावजूद डिवाइड बाय जीरो एरर तो आ जाएगी, एक्सेप्शन आ जाएगी जो भी मैंने दिखाया है। तो उस कंडीशन में अर्थमेटिक एक्सेप्शन को मैंने यहाँ पे कैच ब्लॉक में, इसको ट्राई कैच में नहीं डाला है। एक मिनट जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Yeah, guys. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so अच्छा, ये इसको एक बार हिंदी बता दें, ये करेंट आप। ठीक है, तो इसमें इसमें क्या है कि अगर ये वाली जो लाइन है जिसमें हम डिवीजन ऑपरेशन कर रहे हैं, अगर ऑपरेंड 2 0 हुआ तो डिवाइड बाय 0 आएगा, लेकिन ट्राई कैच हमने लगाया नहीं है। इसका मतलब अभी तक ये समझ में आ रहा है कि ट्राई कैच लगाना जरूरी नहीं है। अगर हम लगाएंगे तो हैंडलर प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं कैच ब्लॉक में, एक अल्टरनेटिव पाथ प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं जो एग्जीक्यूट होगा। अगर नहीं लगाएंगे तो प्रोग्राम हॉल्ट कर जाएगा। यानी अगर लाइन नंबर 21 पे एक्सेप्शन आया और ट्राई कैच ब्लॉक नहीं है तो लाइन नंबर 22 और उसके बाद का कोड नहीं चलेगा। इनफैक्ट स्कैन भी जो है ये क्लोज नहीं होगा, ये ओपन रह जाएगा। ठीक है, अब वो अलग बात है, गार्बेज कलेक्ट हो जाए तो अलग सी बात है। ठीक है, तो अभी तक ये समझ में आ रहा है कि इन एक्सेप्शंस के लिए हमें ट्राई कैच लगाना जरूरी नहीं है। हम लगाना चाहे तो लगा दें, ना लगाना चाहे तो ना लगाएं। तो ठीक है, हम इसको रन करके एक बार देखते हैं। लेट्स ट्राई टू रन दिस प्रोग्राम एंड लेट्स सी। People are joining late and that disturbs the class. Okay, enter the first operand. So let me say first operand is 10. The second operand, let's say the second operand is 2. Okay, then let's see whether the message in the catch block in line number 17 is being printed or not. See, there was no such message as in line number 17, that the illegal number format is not printed. Then operand 1 is equal to operand 1 plus 5, this must have executed. So 10 plus 5 means operand 1 becomes 15. Then a result is equal to operand 1 by operand 2 because both are integer. 15 by 2, that will be rounded to 14, 7, that will become 7, right? That will become integer 7, and then 7 multiplied by 2, that will 14, right? Result is a floating point number, so 14.0 will be the output, and this is what we are printing. ठीक है, क्लियर है? अब इसको एक बार रन करते हैं अगेन। लेट्स सी, enter the first operand 10, second operand 0, and then we see the exception in thread main java.lang.arithmetic exception divide by 0. This is what I was trying to demonstrate yesterday, which somehow couldn't happen because there's something else which is happening over there in that program, right? We were a little bit confused. So ये exception मिल रहा है. For this exception, because we have not put this block, this line where division is being done in the try and catch block, right? This line line number 21 is not in try and catch block, right? So when this line through the exception, line number 21 through the exception, neither the line number 22 executed, that means result into result multiplied by 2 will not happen, and the output also in line number 23 was not printed. Even line number 24 must not have been executed. So when exception occurs and that exception is not handled, the rest of the code will not execute. The program will terminate. What we said, it will terminate abruptly. ठीक है? in a not in right way. ठीक है? And the user will have a bad experience because you are seeing an error which he doesn't understand, a technical error. Okay. So now let's run this program again, and this time with a different input. So all these inputs are some kind of test cases, as you can see. जो लोग ब्लैक बॉक्स टेस्टिंग करते हैं ना, वो कोड अगर नहीं देख रहे हैं तो वो क्या कर रहे हैं, they are not worried about the code. They do not in fact need to see the code in black box testing. We have two kind of testing, right? White box and black box testing. पढ़ा है ना, तो बेसिक से है. तो इसमें क्या होता है कि व्हाइट बॉक्स में you have got the code, so you write the test cases which the developer itself writes. So those test cases in Java, they are mostly written in a framework called as JUnit. ठीक है? Otherwise, those who are doing a black box testing, they will see the system as a box where they cannot see the code. The code is not transparent to them. So they will just give different kinds of inputs, and they will try to figure out, is there any type of problem that is coming in the code, any exception is coming in the code, any logical error is coming, the output is something wrong which is not expected, and all those things. So similarly, we are trying to do a black box testing. Let me give a different input. This time 10 for the first operand. For 2, let me say I am writing TWO2. Of course, scan.next is giving even 10 as a string, but then parseInt method is going to parse it to and change it to an integer value. But what about this 2? This 2 is not exactly the integer 2, right? So that's a wrong format. Now we can expect number format exception to come, right? And if this number format exception comes, then this line number 17 should execute. Okay? So let's see. Let me enter. See, we are getting illegal number format. Please execute the program again. This is the message that we have printed in system.err. Okay? .println. Exception inside main java.lang.null pointer exception divided by 0. ये दोबारा से क्यों आ गया? See, this program has thrown 2 exceptions. ये समझ में आ रही है बात, guys, people online? This program has thrown 2 exceptions. First exception was number format exception, and within the catch block I have received this message. ठीक है? Second exception was arithmetic exception, that is divided by 0 error. So that means this line is printed. Control Z, sorry. This exception occurred here in line number 15 when we have entered TWO2 and we try to parse it. So the parseInt method must have thrown the exception, and that exception is caught in this catch block. Line number 17 was printed, but because we have caught the exception, so the code will not terminate and the rest of the lines will execute after the catch block. So that's why operand 1 is equal to operand 1 plus 5. That means 10 plus 5, 15 must be assigned to operand 1, must have been assigned to operand 1. Then result is equal to operand 1 divided by operand 2. Initially operand 2 was 0, and because here parsing was not successful, so no case of giving a new value to operand 2. So the initial value of 0 remains unchanged. That's why it's a divide by 0 error. 15 divided by 0, and then because we haven't put a try catch block, the exception is thrown, and rest of the lines 22, 23, and 26 are not executed. ठीक है, समझ में आ रही बात? Guys online, clear? People online, say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so okay, let's move to the next example. Let's see. So this is another example. You can see in this class exception example 3, we have got the main method. Okay. There are 2 methods which are being called from the main method. One is array traversal, the other is string index character, right? Or rather, for the sake of similarity in the naming conventions, let's change this name as string traversal. ठीक है, अब कैसे करेंगे? अगर यहाँ भी चेंज करेंगे तो यहाँ भी चेंज करना पड़ेगा, right? If you want to change here, we will have to change here also, at this place also, here, the name, right? So the easy way is to do a refactor, right? Refactor, rename, string. I should have used the small s, right? Because it's a camel case. String traversal. See, the name here also changed. Okay? So if this method would have been called from 1,000 places, so all those 1,000 places will be updated in just one go. You don't have to worry to figure out, track them, and then correct it. So we have got two methods: array traversal and string traversal. That means there is an array, and in the array traversal we have got the array of integer numbers. Some elements are assigned over there. Guys, just give me 2 minutes. Yeah, guys. My screen visible? Okay. So you can see there are two methods, array traversal and string traversal, which are being called from the main method, right? Array traversal contains int array, integer array. It may have some elements. Here I have got 4 elements, 4 integer elements, starting from index position 0 to 3, right? And what I'm doing is I am using a for loop, a simple for loop that will run from integer I is equal to 0 and I less than 5, which is a problematic thing because it should not be more than 3. So I'm not considering the length of the array. Ideally, I should have done int array dot just hold on here. Dot length, this thing, ये मुझे यूज करना चाहिए था इसकी जगह, but intentionally I am not doing this to create a problem, but let me just assume this is what should have been the thing, right? Ideally it should not go beyond the length of the array, because in that case, as in the case of string, you have seen string index out of bound exception. Here the problem that will come is array index out of bound exception. So there it was string index out of bound exception. Here the problem will be array index out of bound exception if that is beyond the length of the array, that is the number of elements which has to be allocated. So I am intentionally putting it beyond the length of the array. Okay. And then I'm trying to print each element one by one in the for loop, right? Similarly, in the string traversal, this is a string. I'm going beyond this string and printing a character at index position 20, which is beyond, the limitation of the string as it is clearly visible, right? So both these will create problem. That means they will throw exception. The first method, which is array traversal in the main method call. I'm talking about the method call. So the first method call will throw the exception at this line for when we try to reach beyond the array index, and it will throw the array index out of bound exception. The second method call will reach in the string traversal method, and it will throw the exception at this line number 20, right? So let's try and see. See, first array traversal method was being called, right? The control came here. There were 4 elements. For loop started working. From index position 0 to 3, that means element 1, 2, 3, 4 were printed. And when it tried to access index position 4, it threw the exception java.lang.array index out of bound exception instead of string index out of bound exception. Index 4 out of the bound for length 4. The length of the array was 4, so the index 4 is out of the bound. If the length is 4, that means the index is 3, because the index will start at 0. So, but we have seen that in this case, the second method was not called. The exception was thrown right over here and the program terminated. The second method was not called. Similarly, if we just shift the sequence of call, now the string traversal will be invoked first. So then we can expect the first exception, that is java.lang.string index out of bound exception for range 20. Okay? But we will not see the second exception, which is array index out of bound exception, because the program terminated. If this would have been a try and catch block, things would have been different. Okay? Now let's try to put them in the try and catch block. So let's put try block over here for both the lines or both the method calls, and catch. Let's say it's a string index out of bound exception ex, and here what I'm doing is I'm going to print error message for the sake of knowing that this code is being reached from catch block of string traversal method call. Okay? Okay. So one exception I have put. One catch block for one of the exception I have put. That means one exception is handled, but the second exception is yet not handled. Okay? So what will happen when this string traversal will be executed, this method control will come to this method starting at line number 22. The problem will occur, the exception will occur, that is string index out of bound exception will occur, and then the control will come to the catch block because this catch block contains the solution of the problem, string index out of bound exception, and the control will print this message as expected. Okay? And then the normal execution of the code will begin. But because this array traversal is within the try block, so the normal execution will begin after the catch block. Right? So if I print a message over here, system.out.println after catch block, this message will be printed, but this array traversal will not be executed. Okay? So let me run this program. Let's see. This error we are getting, this message we are getting, system.error from catch block of string traversal method call. So this is what we are getting as output. And then after the catch block. Okay? We are not seeing the stack trace because in the catch block, we have handled the thing. So normally the stack trace will not be shown. Okay? If for any reason we want to display the stack trace also, for example, for the logging purpose in a file. Okay, so what we can do is we can use this object ex, which is capturing string index out of bound exception, and we say ex dot print stack trace. Now we are explicitly directing to print the stack trace also. This was being done by default when there was no try catch block. But once there is a catch block, so that error message will not appear. That is not going to annoy the user. But for some reason, I want to print this. Maybe I want to send this thing to a file, not to the user. I can do that. Okay. So just let me run the code and see the changes. Now you can see the stack trace is also being printed along with the method, along with the message. Okay. Clear is that? But still, we are not reaching to the array traversal. अब array traversal को अगर मैं उठा करके यहाँ से क्या करूँ, यहाँ कर दूँ तो क्या होगा? वो भी रन होगा, लेकिन उसके लिए ट्राई कैच नहीं लगाएंगे तो क्या होगा? स्टैक ट्रेस प्रिंट कर देगा उसके लिए. इसका स्टैक ट्रेस को हटा देता हूँ फिलहाल. Let me remove the stack trace for string index out of bound exception, and then we will only see the stack trace for array index out of bound exception, right? Correct? But we want to handle both the things. We want to handle both the problems. So one way is I can put a separate try and catch block, try block for it also. Okay, from here to here, and then catch. What is the exception I should catch here? Array index out of bound exception, right? Ex, and then I will print the message. See, from catch block of array traversal to make a difference, right? So this is what we can do. Guys, people online getting? We are trying to handle two different kinds of exception coming from two different lines in a different try blocks. That means different guarded regions. Okay? See, one message is coming from line number 14 from the catch block of string index out of bound exception. The other message is coming from line number 23, which is from the catch block of array index out of bound exception, because both the method calls are giving exceptions. Okay? Clear is that? Now we want to merge these two exceptions into one line as we did before. That means we want to have both the lines in the same try block for any reason. ठीक है, जैसे जैसे आप डेवलपमेंट करेंगे रीजन भी आपको समझ में आने शुरू हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, but what we will do is we will add this catch block over here. We will remove this catch block from here. क्लियर है? तो पहले केस में स्ट्रिंग ट्रैवर्सल के केस में अगर एरर आएगा तो वो किस में जाएगा? इस वाले कैच ब्लॉक में जाएगा. सेकंड केस में अरे ट्रैवर्सल के लिए एरर आएगा तो किस में जाएगा? इसमें जाएगा. Guys, getting the point? In the first case, when line number 11 will be invoked and the control will come to the string traversal method and this will throw an exception, the control will come to the first catch block because it matches the type of the exception, string index out of one exception, right? Okay, so let me run, and the second case will come to the second catch block. So, okay, but you should know that when the controls comes to the first catch block, any code which is written in the same try block will not be executed. The code only after the catch block will be executed. So you can see the output as after catch block, but array traversal will not work. ये बात समझ में आई? नहीं आई? देखो क्या है कि अब तक हमने अलग अलग दोनों को हैंडल किया था. We have handled string traversal and array traversal exceptions separately in different try blocks. So we were getting both the exceptions. Both catch blocks were reached. ठीक है? But here, because both these lines are within the same try block, and if the exceptions come in the first line, the control will come to this catch block, and then it will only execute the code after the catch block. It will not go back to the try block. ठीक है? So the second array traversal method never invokes. It never invoked. ठीक है? तो उसमें वापस ही जा रहा है वो. Correct? So that is why we have to decide that whether we should handle the two kind of exception in different try blocks or we want to handle in the same try block. So that will make the difference. ठीक है? क्योंकि try block के अंदर जो कोड है उसमें दोबारा वो इंटर नहीं करेगा, वो कैच ब्लॉक में जाएगा, कैच ब्लॉक के बाद वाला इंटर पे करेगा. ठीक है? एक्सिक्यूट करेगा. Okay guys, so let's suppose the string traversal method, the first invocation of this string traversal method in line number 11, this does not throw the exception. For example, let's say the character that we are trying to access in the string is the character fifth, which is a blank space, okay, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth, yeah. Let's say 3, okay. 3 is what? A. SHEH, right? 3 is A. 0, 1, 2, no, H. The fourth index, H. Yeah. लग दो यहाँ पे. ठीक है? क्लियर है यहाँ तक? People online?
Yes, sir.
Okay. क्या रख दो? मैं ले लूँगा. So now this particular code will not throw the exception. So that means the control is not expected to come in this catch block. If this string traversal method is not throwing the exception, the control will not come to string index out upon exception block because that exception will never be thrown. But in the second call, array traversal, still we have got the exception that will be thrown. We have not changed the code. So the control will start from looking from the first block. The exception which will actually come in this case will be array index out of bound exception, right? Because of array traversal method, right? So the first catch block is the string index out of bound exception. So the object will be matched to the type string index out of bound exception, and we'll see that it's not of the same type. It's not of the same nature. So this catch block will be skipped. Then we'll come to the next catch blocks in the sequence, in the order. It will see the second catch block is array index out of bound exception, which is actually matching the type of exception which has occurred. So it will enter into this catch block and we can only see one output from the system.error message, right? At line number 17, not at line number 14. Okay, let's try this. So you can see the output from the catch block of array traversal method call after the catch block. ठीक है, यहाँ तक clear है? Okay. Now I'm trying to do a little more experiment. I will remove both these catch blocks. Okay, I will put an alternative catch block. Index out of bound exception. Okay, and let me see the name of the variable which is holding the object is ex. Okay, system dot error. Index error in the catch block. Okay. Let's suppose we are going to change the code again. Here, let me put it 20 back again so that we know that now both the method calls will throw exceptions. Correct? Which will throw the first exception? Because only one of the two lines of the try block will execute. When the exception comes, it will enter into the catch block, and from the catch block, it will move to the rest of the code of the catch block. It will not re-enter into a try block. So the error will only come through the string traversal method, right? And that will be string index out of bound exception. But the name of this exception is index out of bound exception. So it's more general. It's more in the general in the sense that it can contain or it can catch or it can handle both the type of exception, whether it's a string index out of bound exception or array index out of bound exception. So let's run this program. This time we are expecting a string index out of bound exception, and let's see that it's entering into the catch block. In the catch block, and then it's printing after the catch blocks. But array traversal method is not executed. ठीक है? अभी sequence को shift कर देते हैं. Let's shift the sequence of the call. Now the error or the exception will come array index out of bound exception, right? But it will be caught by index out of bound exception actually, because the catch block is holding index out of bound exception. Okay? What we can do is we can just print the stack trace to see what kind of exception actually we are getting. Ex dot print stack trace. Okay? Now see, if we try to run this, we are getting the exception, and in the exception stack trace, we are actually getting that it's not just the index out of bound exception, but it's array index out of bound exception. दिख रहा है ना? कंसोल बड़ा कर देता हूं, ठीक है? तो stack trace में आपको नजर आ रहा है. But the type of exception class is same for both. This is the class. Array index out of bound exception is also a class. String index out of bound exception is also a class. We know that exceptions are nothing but objects of a class in Java, right? इसको फिर से वापस रिवर्स कर देते हैं. कौन सा आएगा? String index out of bound exception. Any stack trace, when the stack trace will be printed, we will expect string index out of bound exception to show, right? Correct? But why this is happening? See, this is index out of bound exception. Right click on it. Open type hierarchy. Type hierarchy. When I click on this type hierarchy, you will see this window. Index out of bound exception, and this is the parent class. And that child classes array index out of bound exception, string index out of bound exception, both are the child classes of index out of bound exception. And we know that we can refer the object of the child class from the reference variable of the parent class. We can refer the object of the subclass from the reference variable of the type of superclass. ठीक है? क्लियर है ना? टर्मिनोलॉजी में डिफर कर रहा हूं, तो दोनों ही कन्वेंशन से बोल रहा हूं. ठीक है? Now this index out of bound exception is the child of runtime exception. That is subclass of runtime exception. Runtime exception is a subclass of exception. Exception is subclass of throwable, something called as throwable. And we know that for every class, there is a universal superclass, which is object. So object is the ultimate superclass of the parent class of all these classes. Guys, hierarchy clear हो रही है? So if we have an exception class, which is the parent class of multiple exception classes, then we can put it in the place of separate exception handlers to catch all such kinds of exceptions. People online, are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, I know it's a little complicated for you guys because being the offline classes not happening, you have not been in a position to learn the previous languages like C and C++ properly. But even if you try to work hard and you will have to view the lectures 5 times, 6 times, maybe even more than that, and try to figure out with sometimes googling. Sometimes you can ask the questions. But ultimately, if you work hard, you will be able to in a position. You will be in a position to understand things. And it is mandatory that you know at least one language very, very thoroughly. When you will migrate to any of the technologies which your company wants, you will find the things are similar because the concepts never change. The language changes, the syntax changes, but the concept hardly changes. ठीक है? तो किसी को अगर एक भी लैंग्वेज अच्छी तरह आती है तो फिर उसके लिए ये बेनिफिट है कि वो चीजों को रिलेट कर लेता है ना? तो एक चीज जानो, उसके अंदर का थोड़ा जानो, लेकिन इन आउट सब जानो, पूरी तरह से अच्छी तरह आनी चाहिए वो चीज. Okay, guys. So this code is clear, right? Now let's move to another example. Okay. Now see this code. Exception example 4. We have got the main method. I am creating a variable file name of the type string. And then in the string, I am actually giving the path of a file, which is in the C directory with the name temp.txt. This is a syntax that I am following is /1. Either you can this or reverse /, which is a Unix based syntax. दोनों ही चलता है, ठीक है? So ये syntax है, okay? So let's see whether we have got this temp.txt in our C directory or not. Let's see. Let's go to the directory. In our C drive, okay, there is a temp.txt file, right? There is a temp.txt file. It contains something. It's a data. It's actually okay. Now I remember. It's a data of the COVID patients of China. The initial when the COVID started. So that's in Chinese language. I have used for some purpose, and you can use Google to translate it to English also. Okay. So this is a data. This is a very lengthy record. So this file contains something. Okay. Now, then there is a variable line which is initially declared to null of the type string. Okay. We are creating an object of file reader class. So this class, as the name indicates, it could be used to read the file, and it's the package java.io. Okay. IO means input output because it's going to read something. So it's an input, right? File writer is something which is going to write something. So you can use the class file reader to read and file writer to write into the file. Okay. So what we are doing is we are trying to run this code where we are creating a new object of file reader and passing the file name, which is in the form of a string. That means this constructor, one constructor takes a string parameter that should contain the file name, the complete path of the file rather. Okay? So we are trying to run this code under the try block. And because we said the file could not be possibly be there, so there is a chance that we can get some kind of exceptions, right? So one of those kinds of exceptions, there could be more than one kind of exceptions, like IO exceptions, like file not found exception. So this is something we are trying to catch is a file not found exception. So that if the file is not available at the given location, then the control will come to this catch block. And as we said, that we can allocate an alternate network location, for example, for the file. So here I've just written a string. You can relate that there is code which is going to change this string value to some alternate network location. Okay, because my system is not connected to network, so no question of writing that code. So just for the purpose of the understanding, I've written this, and then I'm printing this check trace. Okay, but this cache block is not going to reach because the file is there. Okay, temp.txt is there in C drive, right? So this cache block will not read unless and until I delete this file. Okay. So as of now, this code will not reach and stack trace will not be printed. Neither a DOI will be assigned to the file name. And then the object of file reader will be created in the try block. Now file reader is ready. We will use the buffer reader class to do a kind of wrapping of the functionality over the file reader. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are creating object of buffer reader, and this constructor takes the object of file reader. ठीक है, इसका एक टेक्निकल टर्म है. This has got a technical term. This is called as decorator. I am trying to decorate something. मतलब एक कंस्ट्रक्टर अंदर दूसरी चीज कंस्ट्रक्टर में डाल रहे हैं, तो आई एम ट्राइंग टू डेकोरेट विद फंक्शनलिटीज. ठीक है, सो आई एम एडिंग द फंक्शनलिटी और डेकोरेटिंग द फंक्शनलिटी ऑफ अ फाइल रीडर विद द बफर रीडिंग कैपेबिलिटी. ठीक है, क्लियर है? So buffer reader, not I do not have just the file reader, but I have got the buffer reader which can buffer thing. ठीक है, for a faster response, so that not every time one line is being read, a number of lines could be read, and all those, because it's a complete file. Why should I read one line at a time and then print? Let it read a number of lines, and then it will print the way I want, whether I want a single line or a multiple line. ठीक है. Now, under this try block, after that, we are running into a loop, while loop, where we keep on checking that this buffer reader dot read line, that means if the buffer reader contains a number of lines buffered to be read, if that is not equal to null, that means there are more lines which are inside the buffer, which are read from the file. Then in that case, we are going to print line by line. System.println then line. ठीक है, and here the exception is IO exception. ठीक है, file is available, so no question of file not found exception. That's a gone thing. Now the next problem that could happen, while I am trying to read this file, even the file is there, file might be corrupt, or just at that moment the hardest connection, internal connection, is little disconnected or loose. It may result to an IO exception. ठीक है, so in that case I will have to catch this line. I have to surround this line with a try catch block, and the catch block will have the handler of IO exception type. ठीक है, the class IO exception. ठीक है, अभी चला के देखिए, अभी कोड चल रहा होगा पूरी तरह, मतलब कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होनी चाहिए. See, it has printed the whole file, right, line by line. ठीक है. Now let me say the file is not there. Let me go to C drive. Either I can delete the file or I can just rename the file. Let me rename it to temp1. ठीक है, तब भी फाइल नहीं मिलेगी. ठीक है. Now let me go back to my code, and now you can see we have tried to run this code. We got the exception, java.io file not found exception, C drive temp.txt is not available. I want to handle this, even though I do not have the network location, but I have a different file name, right? So what I can say is, let me have this value set to, if this temp.txt is not available, so let me say that I am always creating a backup file temp1, so the name will be changed. Okay, and in that case what will happen, I will have to create the object also here after that, because it will not go back to the try block, so I have to copy and paste that thing also. What is the problem here? Unhandled exception time for file not found. Because again, this file temp1 may also be missing. Temp1 may also be missing, right? So it says it's again a unhandled exception. So surrounded with try catch again. So it's a nested try catch block. The nested try block, and within the nested try block, you have got a catch block. Okay? Guys, getting the point? The same exception could be thrown from this line number 26 also, because this temp1 might also be missing. So for that also we are putting a try catch block again. So let's run this. So hopefully the code should get not temp.txt, but rather it should get temp1.txt. So let's print a message here, system.out.println or error. Temp.txt is missing. Moving to temp1.txt. ठीक है, clarity होगी. Let's run it. So what is the output? The first, okay, इसको कॉल कर गई, right? ठीक है, तो हमें नजर नहीं आया. अब सी में तो गेट सी एच एक फंक्शन होता था ना रोकने के लिए, है ना? हमारे पास गेट सी एच की जरूरत नहीं है. हम क्या करेंगे, अब एक काम कर लेते हैं, just for the purpose of scanner scan equal to new scanner. स्पेलिंग सही लिख रहा हूं मैं? गलत है. step.in. ठीक है, कंट्रोल शिफ्ट जावा util डॉट स्कैनर. स्कैनर तो बहुत जगह मिल रहा है ना, हमें ये वाला चाहिए, पहला वाला. ठीक है, एरर गई. Now let's say after this message, print a message, system.out.println. Do you want to continue? I mean, continue using the file temp1.txt. ठीक है, string answer is equal to scan dot next. ठीक है, if answer, I'm extending the code a little, dot not double equal to, it's an object. In case of primitive, we use double equal to check for the equality. Here we will use the equals method. There is a equals method. Equals. ठीक है? Yes. Then proceed. Okay. ट्राई का यहाँ खत्म हो रहा है, कैच का यहाँ खत्म हो रहा है, इसका यहाँ खत्म हो रहा है, राइट? As it will not do anything. As it will just not do anything. ठीक है? Clear है? क्या कह रहा है? Exception instead main. अच्छा, कंपाइलेशन कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुई है. क्या हुआ है? ये क्लास थी ना, कुछ एरर है, एक मिनट देख लेते हैं. अच्छा, कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है, कुछ एक कर्ली ब्रेसेस की प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. हमने इफ का लगाया था मेरे ख्याल से, इफ का क्लोज नहीं किया, राइट? इसको हम यहाँ पे क्लोज करते हैं. गई एरर. ठीक है, let's run it. See, the output is temp.txt is missing. Moving to temp1.txt. Do you want to continue? Let me say yes. Yes, continue. Reading the temp1.txt file. Clear? One more thing I would demonstrate here, right here, while we are on the subject, we can, along with equals method, we can use equals ignore case. Okay? So what will happen if we are using equal ignore case instead of equals, and then the answer is whether small letter yes or capital letter yes, or yes which is capital letter and everything with a small letter, or y and then es, whatever. It should be yes. It will ignore the case and then it will work. Otherwise, it has to be in the same case. It will be case sensitive. ठीक है, तो ये नहीं होता. अगर सिर्फ इक्वल्स होता तो उस कंडीशन में अगर मैंने कुछ और दिया होता, फॉर एग्जांपल कंट्रोल एस, लेट मी रन इट, कुछ और दिया होता, say let me say y is capital, y yes, okay, then it will throw the exception, it will not work. ठीक है, null point exception क्यों आया? null point exception because आपका फाइल रीडर जो है बन नहीं पाया, फाइल रीडर नल रह गया. ये इफ ब्लॉक में नहीं आया ना, इफ ब्लॉक में नहीं आया, फाइल रीडर बना नहीं, बफर रीडर बना नहीं, बफर रीडर पे ऑपरेशन रीड लाइन कर रहे हैं, नल पॉइंट एक्सेप्शन मिल गया आपको. गॉट इट? Okay guys, so that's it for today. I think it's too much for a day. So people online, is it okay? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm dropping the call. See you on Monday.